He's got the cash.
Hey,
He's got a condo.
I
He's got a car.
feel the need to talk,
But that still doesn't mean he gets
and hopefully
time to shine.
I can be therapy for myself. Doing this live because I don't know. Okay, where do I start? I have to start very long time ago. 2009. I was told that I had a tumor on my brain the size of a dime. And there were some experimental treatments that I could try, but insurance didn't cover. And I was told to get my affairs in order because I only had a couple of months left. I'm convinced that the tumor came from living in Detroit in a home that had black mold behind the walls. I want to say that's where it started, but I don't know for sure. I don't think I'll ever know for sure. 2009, even 2010 were terrible, terrible times for me. I had I lost a lot of weight. I was missing time. I had memory loss. I'd run out of the house and early in the morning dragging my son in tow in my underwear because I was convinced somebody was after us. It was a mess. Once a month I had to go in and they would it was a needle about the length of two of my fingers, if you can imagine. And they would shove it up the base of my spine. It's called a spinal tap. And they would take spinal fluid from the back of my head, because I guess that's the only place you can get it from. And it left me in pain for days after. It was a mess. It was a mess. And I put Asia through hell. And I know I did. But the day that they told me that I had, like the time limit, came and went. I wasn't fine by any means, but that day came and went. And I went to the hospital for my usual, where spinal tap, and then I would talk to a therapist, and they would discuss what they could do next for me, which honestly was nothing. And in talking to the doctor, another doctor came in, and I remember two or three of them came in, and they were comparing charts and talking about me like I wasn't in the room. It was weird. And okay, I guess I'm skipping a spot. I I want to say it was a seizure or stroke of some kind. I don't think it was an actual heart attack. But clinically, I was declared legally dead for over 2 minutes. Now, I don't have the details on that. I don't know if it was my heart that stopped for 2 minutes, if they couldn't register brain activity for 2 minutes. Like, I've come to find out now that your brain survives a good 10 minutes after you're dead. So, but I was declared legally dead. Toe tag and all. It was done. And I woke up. And I did. It wasn't like this surreal thing. I didn't wake up in the morgue with the toe tag on and I had to fight my way out of the cabinet or anything. It wasn't. I was in a room and they were just like, hey, welcome back. You were clinically dead for, I think it was 2 minutes, 36 seconds or something like that. And they did all the scans they had to do. And that's when the doctors came in and they were talking. And it was clear that there was just nothing. Like, tumor wasn't there. Like, there was evidence that there used to be, or there was, and just not anymore. I was just fine. I was just fine. And for a long time, I guess I had like survivor's guilt, trying to figure out why I was okay, how it was okay, because I've never really truly discussed my religious views like in detail with you guys, and it's not because of a lack of desire. I don't know how to approach the subject. I'm trying to set this thing up so I can not have to hold the phone. Nah, I just don't think it's gonna work for me. I'm gonna have to hold this thing, aren't I? I'm trying, guys. Woo. Ooh, check me out. Nope, it's just not gonna work. And that's fine. But I was never super religious, and you would think that an experience like that would kind of snap some religion into it. I don't have an answer, so clearly God, right? And that just wasn't the case for me. It never was. But it did leave me with the question of, well, how? Why? Why am I here? I mean, I suppose I could have just gone with the God didn't answer and moved on. But that's been a question that has like haunted me. Like, what happened? Why am I here? Why was I dead and then I wasn't? That's odd to me. How could I? Yeah. Oh, I'm so smart. So yeah, this I've lived with this question now forever, and I've wondered if I would ever really get the answer to it. I don't know. I mean, part of me wants to say, don't look a gift in the mouth. I'm here. I'm alive. I should accept that for what it is. Make the best of it. But that's always going to be the question that's unanswered for me. I don't know. I like to think that I've done well. I've bounced back okay from that. And honestly, I don't even think about the question that much anymore. I guess I've just come to accept that there are some things that are the way they are. I do the things that I do, and I'll continue to do them until I don't. And I'm not saying you should be content with not knowing, but there are just some things that they're just beyond me. So I don't worry about it as much anymore. I mean, I'll always want to know, but I don't let it bother me anymore. And that brings me to where we are now, because here's the problem we're having. My wife has a dilemma in her life, a question that she needs answered. And I don't know if an answer exists. I don't know if there's an answer that's satisfactory to her. Nonetheless, she's got this question that's burning in her, and she needs to know. And I know how all consuming the unanswerable question can be. Like, part of me just a couple of years after just wanted to just chalk it up to God, and move on. But look, I fully understand that there are things in this world that are beyond my control. There are some things that, are outside the realm of nature and don't have an explanation. I don't know what those things are. I don't know how those things come to be, but I also don't worry about them because it's beyond me. I guess I learned to let go, but I'm afraid that my wife isn't going to be able to. She's not going to just let go. She's not going to just give this up, and I'm afraid that either she'll get an answer she doesn't like, or she'll get an answer and not be content with the answer. Like, I never want to be the person to tell her to stop thinking. Never stop thinking, never stop questioning, never, always be skeptical, always ask more questions, always follow up, always do the research, always look yourself. Don't believe what anybody tells you. Look it up, do what you have to. But when it comes to why one moment I was dead and then I wasn't, or if you want to go even further back, I was 12 years old. I got hit by a car and completely shattered my knee. And I healed up okay. Like, I did my best. But then I fell off a building. Like, you would think but I fell off a building, 2-story building in Brook Forest Apartments. I'll never forget this. I fell off the balcony, jacked my knee again. And they told me the damage was so severe that I would probably never walk again. Here I am, walking and talking. They told me I only had X amount of time to live. Here I am, 7 years after the fact, living, breathing. They told me I had a tumor, and then I didn't. I don't I don't have an explanation for that, but I think I'm learning that some questions don't have an answer. It doesn't mean I'll ever stop looking. It just says to me that regardless to if I was given a gift by a creator or if I just Wolverined it and spontaneously healed, I don't know. I shouldn't look that gift in the mouth and I should do what I can with the gift I've been given. That's important. I think that's what's important. And I ask myself, if I were to get the answer to my question, then what? I mean, okay, what if I get an answer and it's God? He knocks on the front door. He's, hey man, it's Jesus. Can I come in? He comes. He sits down. We have some wine and we eat some bread. And he explains to me that he brought me back for a purpose because there's something I'm supposed to be doing, and I have this great task ahead of me. Would I do it? Would I even bother? Like, I don't want to be charged with a holy quest. Like, getting the answer to my question won't make me more alive. Likewise, getting the answer to my question won't kill me either. But it's like, I'm learning. I'm learning that I may not need the answer. Or what if the answer is something I don't like? I was laying in bed the other day with my wife. We were having a conversation. We were talking about, you know, things along this line. And I remember we were discussing personal truth, and I asked her, does it matter if it's true? Or is it enough that it's a personal truth? And she's like, oh no, it's true. And it's like, I get that, but is it true? Like, does do the things that you want from reality correspond with reality? Are you asking for too much? Like, when somebody says, oh, my thoughts and prayers, I don't want your thoughts and prayers. Like, help. If I'm in trouble, help. Going home and saying you prayed is the equivalent of saying I went home and had a sandwich and prayed you had food. Like, not interested in that. I don't know if getting the answer to my question will fundamentally change who I am. And if it does, like, I like who I am overall as a person. I really like the person that I've become. I mean, granted, my life has become a little repetitive and boring, and maybe we have goodies a little too often, but I still like my life. I like where my wife is, developmentally speaking. I like where my son is. He's prepared. He's ready for life if he needs to be. Will answering this question fundamentally change who I am? I'm not ready to go on some quest. Like, what if I've got to go to like the Ark exhibit and I've got to preach to people? Like, I don't. I'm trying to. I'm trying to be comfortable with this is just my life. So, in regards to my unanswerable question, I'm fine. I think I will be. I don't think I'm gonna let that get to me as much. Hey, it's the missus. But in terms of hers and what she's dealing with, it bothers me that I can't do more. You know, it bothers me that this is probably the single biggest identity crisis my wife has had. Like, she's wrestling with some fundamental shit, but I can't help. I would like to think that my years of experience of dealing with unanswerable questions would be beneficial, but it's not, because I think about when I was in the thick of it, hearing from other people wouldn't have helped me. I have to do this. I have to be the one. And I've pretty much settled with who I am. Like, I'm good. I'm good. I won't be going to the ARC experience. I won't be proselytizing. I don't even know what that word means. I like who I am. I like my life. I like what I've built for myself and for my family and for my wife and for my son and for our lives and for children that we'll eventually have. Like, I like where we are. So I'm telling myself advice that if somebody had told me when I was in the thick of it, I wouldn't have heard. Because to hear it from somebody, like, the advice is this: don't be so worried about answering unanswerable questions that you're not enjoying the gift that was given to you. But in the thick of it, in the moment, I wasn't interested. I'm not trying to hear that. I need to know. But now I've been wrestling with that question for 7 years, and I'm no closer to an answer. And I've had some strange personal experiences that cannot be explained by science. But I'm still no closer to an answer. And I can look back now and say, man, I wasted a lot of time worrying about it. And now I can successfully look back and go, I'm not going to worry about that no more. Like, my life is my life. Truth is what I make it. You know, if I was brought back for a purpose, or if they misdiagnosed for some reason and it didn't really happen like that, it doesn't matter because I've made the best of the last 7 years doing something with this gift. And that's enough for me. But again, it's the sort of thing you can't tell somebody who's dealing with it in the moment. You can't. So I can't tell Asia, oh, you'll get over this, or you'll get past it, or don't think about it too much, or don't worry about it too much, because I don't agree with that. Not at this juncture, but it hurts me to think that it's going to take 7 years for her to get where I am. I'll share this with you and then I'll go because this is going on way too long. I'm not an atheist. Let me stress that to you. I'm not an atheist. But I listen to a lot of atheist podcasts, a lot of atheist shows, watch a lot of atheist stuff on YouTube. Matt Dillahunty, for example, Seth Andrews, Arn Ra, like Cross, Hitchens, Sam Harris. Like, there's a lot of good stuff out there, and I listen and I check facts, and the Bible has been thoroughly debunked by science. I mean, whether it be geological or astrological, fossil records, carbon dating, like evolution is a fact. Get over it. It's a fact. Nobody scooped up a handful of dirt and breathed into it the breath of life. Evolution is a fact. And when you are privy to information like this, you wonder how other people aren't privy to this information. It's like, you have same access to this information as I do. Why don't you have this? Why haven't you come to this conclusion? So I would go on this tirade with anybody who would listen, and I would tell them how wrong the Bible was. And it rubbed a lot of people in the wrong way, and I get it. Because there are so many people who are ingrained in the life that they lead and the truth that they have for themselves. It doesn't matter to them if it's wrong or not. It's what they are, it's what they believe in, it's ingrained into their soul, and it brings them joy, and it's like they don't care where the gift came from. They're just happy to have the gift, and if showing God thanks for the gift is what they need to get them through a day, then that's fine. I bring that up because I know my mother-in-law is a smart cookie. She's very clever. I mean, she raised 3 kids by herself. I mean, she did okay. But I know she's smarter than the religion that she's dedicated her life to, and it's like I wanna talk to her and snap her out of it. But snap her out of it for what? Like, that's the burden of knowledge. It's like I have this information that I can't do anything with. Like, does evolution being a fact change my life at all? No. Does it impact me in the way I do things? No. Is God being real or not? Does that impact me? No. But if it impacts her, why would I take it from her? So I decided quietly to myself that even though I had more than enough information to plant the seeds in her head that will eventually get her to where I am, I'm not going to take her joy from her. Let her have that. And I think I think that's what's gonna happen to Asia here is she is searching for an answer that may or may not come. It might be 7 years for her, it might be 14 years for her, it might be 28. I don't know. I don't know if or when she'll get the answer she's looking for. But then when she gets that information, then what happens? It's like, what does she do with that? Does she, I mean, I guess you've got to incorporate it into your day, but does it mean she stops caring about the people that she cares about? Does that part of her life just go away? I'm a firm believer in a comforting lie rather than a hurtful truth. Like if Asia comes out of the room and she's got on a pair of jeans that make her butt look flat and lumpy, like if she thinks she looks good in them, me telling her that her butt looks flat and lumpy, well now she's wasted time, she's wasted money. I just basically just took a shit in her cornflakes. Like what's that for? It just so happens that most times, more often than not, Asia looks fine in whatever she wears. But to take that from her, why? What would that be for? I, I'm afraid that either she won't get the answer she's looking for and it'll change who she is as a person, or she'll get the answer she was looking for and it'll just make her sour. Or even worse is that she just won't get an answer at all. And it'll be the sort of thing that haunts her. So, which would you prefer to haunt you? Not knowing something, or then knowing something and knowing that now you've got to change your whole way of doing things to accommodate this? So, that's kind of where I stand. I feel powerless to help her. Like, cause the advice I want to give is don't look a gift in the mouth. Let it go. But she's fresh. She's into it. It's fresh for her. It's new for her. Of course, she's not gonna take that advice. And as her husband, I want to be supportive, and I want to be the one to say, "Yeah, fight the good fight. Look for answers. Let's get it. Let's go." But I feel like looking for the answers is gonna hurt her because she may not ever find them. And if she does find them, what will she do when she does? Like, I fear that the good days for my wife could be over in that regard. I wonder if she'll ever. Guess we'll see, huh? Guess we'll see.